Mainstream activity to address smoking hasn't worked for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. As much as the goodwill has been there, it hasn't worked. Those big ads that we see on television haven't always worked with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, and our research shows that what is most effective is when you work directly with the communities.
Now we should be addressing that target population as well.
Our lungs are spongy and it's
Yep, and 20 minutes, and that's smoking in their homes because they just...
You gotta hold it. Put your feet there like that, about 12 months ago. 12 months ago.
Tobacco is a major problem and a major health because it has a bigger impact on Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health than alcohol. It's taken 30 years for mainstream population to get their smoking rates down. I think it would be difficult to say we're going to do that in 4 or 5. I'd like to say we could do it in 10. If you have intervention in your clinical work, it changes lots of behaviours. I'm David Copley. I'm the coordinator of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Cancer Prevention Team for Cancer Council South Australia, which also incorporates QuidSA. I mean, the stats look at between 47 and 50%, but if you go out into some communities, it's well over 60, 70%. It's just massive. Some of the rural remote communities, you can go out and count on one hand the number of people who don't smoke. And that we're talking about over the age of 10. We start smoking much earlier. Sometimes they're really difficult. Quit South Australia has always had a training program for mainstream nurses and doctors and health professionals called Quit Skills, which was basically a one-day training program, and they did some online work before the training program, they did some online work after the one-day workshop, and it came with a unit of competency attached to it. And we looked at this and we thought, well, we need this for Aboriginal health workers and the tobacco and healthy lifestyle workers that are now coming on board. And so we sat down and over a period of time and in conjunction with the Aboriginal Health Council, we developed the 3-day Quit Skills program, which now has national recognition and comes with 3 units of competency. So anybody doing this course who is then going on to do a Cert 3 or 4 in Aboriginal health or the like can use the competencies for RPL for their electives. So most people here on community care or medical... Initially, we were looking at funding to run in South Australia. We wound up getting funding to take the program nationally. So I moved from my role to the coordinator of that program. We now have a team of 9 people, and 4 Aboriginal people included in that 9. And they all either have qualifications in training and delivery of training, or they're in the process of, all but one person still in training to get that, but all the rest have formal qualifications in delivering of training.
So let's say they do have a craving. David spoke about that before. What might be something that they could come up with to overcome that craving?
And we've now rolled that out to 20 programs nationally, Western Australia, South Australia, and now into Victoria. We're spending about a month in Victoria here in the Mildura region, and that will train about 35 tobacco and health workers. We've just had an expression of interest list from the Northern Territory for people wanting training there, and we're looking at about 80 people in the Territory who've put expression of interest in places like Alice Springs, Katherine, Nhulunbuy, Darwin, Tennant Creek. So now we have to look at how we're going to roll the training out there.
There's probably 3 out of all the workers out there that don't smoke. So none of them boys.
What did you think of the training that we've just completed, with, especially with the motivating interviewing? How do you feel, and did you get a lot out of that, Jace?
Well, yeah, it was a lot different to a lot of the other quick training that we have done.
Yeah, well, I got a lot out of it myself, and I've had the same training as what you've had as well. So with doing that and good refresher and stuff,
That's a lot different from what used to doing. So.
And do you think our community will benefit more from it now? Do you think our clients that come in and see us, you reckon it will be easier for them?
Yeah, I reckon, because it's going to get them to open up to us and there'll be more of their ideas. So that's the way it's... I reckon it's going to work really well. So
yeah, me too.
Once we get it out there and start using it, we'll be get along this fine, I reckon.
Yeah, me too. No, I really enjoyed it, so I'm glad we did it. It was 3 days of 3 days of fun learning.
Yeah. So
this training is really important because it adds to the information they have, the education they have, the tools they have for making this program sustainable. And reducing tobacco use in community has to become sustainable, otherwise it won't work. It really has to be sustainable.
So, you guys, thanks for coming along today. It's really great to see you all. Remembering today is really informal. It's about sharing stories, having something to eat. Don't feel embarrassed. Have something to eat. We're all here to support each other. We're all here to share and inspire and support others to quit. And if you're not ready to do that, then it's just about sharing information for one day when you are ready.
I was never going to be ready.
Yeah.
Never, ever.
Me either.
I was never giving up.
Yeah. So, my whole family have always been part of the community. Like, they come off Cape Barren Island and we were brought up, and I've known nothing else. My mum worked at the Children's Centre back when I was in school. My auntie Karen ran the hostel. My mum was the receptionist at the TAC. Growing up, it was always a given, and my 20-so-year-old daughter is now a childcare worker here at the Children's Centre, and she went to the Children's Centre as a baby. So for us, it's like it was always a given that I was going to work with my community. And I say with because, I can't fix their problems, but we can work side by side to give them support and give them options and make them a stronger community. That's what's most important for me.
So I stopped for about 2 years, going back about 15 years ago, and then took it back up again.
Yeah. What have you tried in the past?
Champix.
Champix?
Yeah.
I smoked for 34 years. I've now been quit for just over 5 years. I never ever thought that I would give up smoking. It wasn't one of things that were on my agenda until my grandchildren started coming along. And when my grandchildren started coming along, made me realise I wanted to be around to see them grow up.
A lot of people in the community looked at Carla and thought, she'll never ever quit. And then when she stood there that day and said, I'm ready, and she was, we were just, amazed. And she's supported others, because a lot of the time the stories and it wasn't always a smooth ride for Carla. She had her ups and downs. We would talk, she would come along to group, she would share her stories, and I still share those stories to the new people that come along to group today.
Here at the Tasmanian Aboriginal Health Service, we have Aboriginal health workers, nurses and doctors who work as a team in the clinic to help the community get through their quit smoking. The clinic staff work closely with the Aboriginal health workers outside of clinic to continue the support throughout, so it's not just a clinic role. Even though some people may see it as being a very clinical giving up smoking, we don't believe it is. We believe that it's a whole of community approach. I think that's what's changed a lot of our outcomes, is that everybody's taking responsibility for quit smoking.
Honestly, it's about setting up a plan, and people think that a plan starts today and you think, I've got to quit today. That's not necessarily true. Just coming along and setting your plan for the future. You only have to look at Carla and Jodie. Once upon a time, they thought they would never quit.
And I can't even believe that I smoke now.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is one of the most stupid things. I've just practiced sometimes, I put and I think, oh my God, how did I do it?
Yeah. I was a single mum and had 3 young children and struggled in life, and now I'm an Aboriginal health worker and been working at the centre for 13 years and, successfully brought up 3 beautiful kids who are now working within their community. It is. It's all about that passion that was given to me by my family, and to stand proud of who I am, and being an Aboriginal person is, what's most important.
My father was a smoker for 30 years and his health was suffering, and he gave up. I saw him give up and saw that it was someone could give up, so he smoked from a very young age, And I think that made me more passionate to be able to help people who have been long-term smokers to believe that they can give up.
You see that first couple of weeks and they're struggling, and then the little hairs on our lungs that have been burnt down from all the smoking and have got there, they start to grow back at about 2 to 4 weeks, and that's when you start to cough up all the phlegm, and you'll feel like you've got a cold, and everybody goes through it. And I say to them, be happy, be happy about that, because your body is now doing what it's supposed to do. It's healing, and usually
since we've changed the way we've looked at quit smoking and looked at it being everybody's job, it's become a more successful program. It reaches more people, even the people who have never thought about quit smoking, because we do the brief interventions each time we see them. We've had a lot of people who have never thought they would even consider quit smoking eventually come around and say, well, yeah, I am thinking now of quit smoking, something that I've never thought about before.
Cassie?
I started Champix a couple of months ago. I was smoke-free for 4 days.
Yeah, excellent.
And then I took it back up.
Yeah. So
and I haven't started the second box yet.
If everybody feels comfortable, we'll do a smokalizer. So the smokalizer is a machine that indicates how much carbon monoxide is in your body. Now, breathe.
To stop people from relapsing, as a health worker, all we can offer is our support, that we're going to be there for them, no matter what situation in their life they're going through. I'm not a smoker, and I feel I am a role model in my position at Marama. Because when I can go out, and I see my clients, they can't see me smoking either, and you can go out and have fun without a smoke. And I have a little girl as well, so I'm not smoking around her. And I just think knowing these clients, having a good relationship with them, build a bit of trust. So knowing they've seen me in the community, so they know that I'm sort of not lying to them either, I'm not preaching something to them. Hello, Shannon speaking. You just wanted to know if your results were back. I have a twin sister, and she has actually quit at the moment. She's been a smoker probably since she was 22, on and off quit attempts. Probably really frustrating for me to see her doing that, because I know how bad it is for you. And when she became pregnant, she also smoked, which was really hard. And now her little boy has asthma. I think she feels bad about that, and I think that's another reason why she really wanted to quit. I think a lot of stress in her life was associated to her smoking, and her husband smokes as well, so they both try and quit, and then they'll fall off the wagon and one will start and then the other one starts again. So it's a bit of a roller coaster, but at the moment they're both doing well. I got online with New South Wales Health to find out if they had any smoking posters that were relevant to Aboriginal Health Service. So they've sent a couple, and we've made sure that they were colourful, so the kids would notice them a lot more as well. And we've actually had a few comments on this one. Because the kids will probably turn around at some stage and say to their mum, "Mum, you're not allowed to smoke in the car, you're not allowed to smoke in the house, it's not good for us." Once they get that education, hopefully they'll pass it on to their parents. The support we offer people on the 12-week smoking program is they have a weekly visit with us. We take their blood pressure every week, and we have a thing called a smoke-alyzer, and it measures their carbon monoxide levels. So we get them to blow into this device every week, and we try and get their levels to drop down. And once they see that, they get really motivated and excited that they can do it, and they're nearly there. So as long as we keep on to that and positive talking and asking if there's any stress in their life, if they have, smoked a few cigarettes here and there, we ask if there's anything we can do to help them to stay on track to get to that goal to quit. Well, this is our chart that when they use this smoke-alyzer, it tests the carbon monoxide levels in their lungs. So when they get a result, it may be in the very dangerous area. So their next visit, the amount of cigarettes they're cutting down on, they may be at the dangerous level. They get really excited when they keep getting the result going down. Yeah, it's a great tool to use. Nation, when's playgroup next? We've got our staff at Marama, there are some that do smoke, but we do have a smoke-free policy that when they do need to smoke, it has to be off the premises. So in that case, it's a bit of a bother to them because they have to actually leave their work. So we're actually finding that a lot have reduced their cigarette intake and a lot have actually quit. It's just too hard. And I guess they're, trying to lead an example as well, being in a health service.
If there was a quick fix, I'd take it in a heartbeat. But other than that, and we are trying to buy a house now too, and that's one of our goals, is to give up the smokes to help save a bit of extra money. So hopefully we can do that soon. Well, when I first tried smoking, I was probably only about 8 years old, and that was just hanging out with the cousins, and we found a packet of smokes and we thought we were pretty cool, and we had a couple of little puffs. We never really took it up then, but just trying it out, trying to be men before our time. Later on, when I got to school, we sort of smoked a little bit in about year 5 or year 6. We used to be able to buy the smokes from the shop back then. And then I didn't really smoke for a while until I was about 16 again. And then I only smoked really when I had a beer or something, just partying and just being with the other guys. And then I quit for about 2 years, and then just some deaths in the family and things like that, and a little bit of stress. And then all of a sudden you start smoking again, and you can't. And then it just seems to get harder and harder to stop.
But if you just level like that, you're going to lean him like that. Like this? Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Since then I've tried another 4 or 5 times, the longest in the last couple of times has been 12 months, but then I don't know, for some silly reason I've had a smoke when I've gone out and had a beer with the boys, and then I've just continued to smoke. But I did give the alcohol away for 2 years, which was a good thing.
We need to do drum beat. The thing is, the type of drums we're playing is djembe drums. It's a West African drum. That means man is lost. What we're trying to do here is build up rhythm and resilience, and also confidence, self-esteem and all that with playing the drums. First thing we do, we tilt our drums like that. 3 major notes we play is...
I didn't smoke for a year while I was off the grog, and then, I thought, I've got to be able to do something. And then, I don't know, it was just a silly little thought in my head, and I started having 1 or 2, and then it ended up turning into about 15 a day. But yeah, and now I'm still trying to give up. I've tried the Champax. The first time it worked, but then there was another death in the family. Like, the Champax was really starting to work. I wasn't smoking, and then after that that incident with one of my family members, I just started again because I don't know if it was stress or it was just my way of coping, and I've just started back up, and then from then on I've just kept smoking. I've had 1 or 2 days here and there trying to without smokes, you know, and I do feel good when I don't have them, but then there's just this little, I don't know, craving, and then you get a bit cranky and things, and I don't know, then you just have that smoke, and then it's like a relief sort of thing.
I'm very passionate about what I do. I'm sick and tired of my people dying just because of drug and alcohol at a very young age. I've lost a sister at the age of 50 a couple of weeks ago, and I'm just think it's not acceptable for people to die that young. And like I said, we're here to learn the rhythm of life, and if we try and learn that our heartbeat is a rhythm. So if we can sort of take our pulse and sort of tap it out on our foot and pick up our beat, our heartbeat, that we all got a heartbeat, and it's cool.
Being there for my kids in the future is probably a big one. No, I don't want to die before I get to see them grow up. I know smoking is bad for your health. I'm a health worker, and plus maybe even trying to reward ourselves, just to put that money away and watch it build, and then we can use that to actually put that towards a deposit or towards our savings. I think that's probably our main goal at the moment, but it is hard.
Want to kick off, please?
Eyes closed.
Eyes closed, eh?
What we tend to do is look at a region, and we might have an AMS in Broken Hill, but that there are, and there might be 2 tobacco action workers and a healthy lifestyle worker there, and 2 Aboriginal health workers. But within that region there may be other tobacco action workers and healthy lifestyle workers in that region. So we would look at having the program in Broken Hill, but people coming into Broken Hill to do it. That's what we've successfully done in Geraldton and in Broome, here in Mildura and in Perth. They've come into, and we're looking at that in Alice Springs.
People can stick up on their fridges or, you know, whatever they need.
At the moment, off the top of my head, I think it's running at about 250 tobacco workers, healthy lifestyle workers. The target, I think, by the end of 2014 is 350, but it's around those figures nationally.
Get a bit of history from the client about how they started off smoking, you know, like all those years ago or a couple of years ago. What did it mean for them to start smoking? So they helped them.
One of the things we talk about in the training, and we've talked about with the Quit Line, in working with the Quit Line staff, is that Aboriginal health and the Aboriginal view of health is that it's holistic. And Aboriginal health incorporates 4 areas: home country, family, psychological well-being and spiritual well-being. They're the 4 main components of Aboriginal health. So when we talk in our training and Quit Line, that we need to be aware that the use of tobacco is often replacing something that's missing.